Hi folks, my name is Adam and I like to make tiny nerdy things, and today I made a sentient bowl of evil pasta. What am I doing with my life? Of course, I can't have a bowl of pasta without some utensils, so I've mocked up a simple aluminium fork and knife that, with a little clay-based tomfoolery, I should be able to turn into a rough approximation of the real deal. I'll start with the knife, placing the armature on a thin clay sheet, adding more sheets of equal thickness to the armature to build up the surrounding knife thickness until I can cut away the excess, then add more on top, then cut that away as well. As this thing is going to be going in and out of the oven, it'll warp and bend with the heat, so the armature inside will keep it nice and sturdy. Otherwise, with one final bake to temper the blade, I can crack out some sandpaper and begin honing this dull clay knife into a truly terrifying dull clay butter knife. It's pasta after all, and only a heathen eats pasta with a knife, but I didn't want to make a spoon. Otherwise, that's the knife done, so it's on to the fork. I'll start with a 4-pronged trident, or a pitchfork for you numerologists out there, or numbers people for you semanticators or word people, and then cover this in a thin layer of clay to help keep the tiny tines in place as I hammer the ever-living shit out of them using my adorable little anvil. This turns the tines into teeny tiny spoons that I can then file down into little points before adding another layer of clay to help create a smooth and more appealing forky profile. Then I can wrap the handle in its own clay layer to give it a bit of girth before cutting it to shape and sanding it all flat and smooth. Finally, the final piece of the bowl of pasta puzzle is, of course, making a bowl, and much like the utensils, I could just use a pre-existing bowl, but what's the fun in that? Instead, I'm going to use this lovely little pasta bowl to make a pasta bowl by fitting some fine sculpting wire sheet inside to give me a good bowl-shaped shape to build on top of. Much like the armature within the fork and knife, this bit of metal will help to hold the bowl shape in place as it bakes. Otherwise, I'll end up with a wonky, wobbly bowl and floppy, flaccid utensils, and that's not going to strike fear into the heart of anyone. With that being said, once I've got my initial double-thick clay sheet bowl substitute baked, I can do as I've done before and spend an equal or greater amount of time trying to sand it flat and smooth. This is the third time in as many moments that I've gotten an hour into the sanding process and thought to myself, maybe it's worth taking a bit more time while the clay is soft to smooth things out rather than relying on sanding to clean up my initial laziness. Then naturally, I'll immediately forget that train of thought and do the same thing again next time. Otherwise, once my bowl is smooth enough, I can set it aside and take this turd-shaped lump of gray clay and carve a line down the center to initiate the enmouthing of my pasta monster. Once I've got a wide enough pasta gob, I'll start adding some inside-the-mouth texture to the inside of the mouth by poking and prodding with a ball stylus, reshaping the lips before adding lots of little balls to create a gnarly set of gums for soon-to-come pointy monster teeth. With that initial set of balls in place, I'll add some strategically placed smaller balls to fill in the gaps and add some girthiness before blending and smoothing it all together, finishing it off with a gentle brushing of isopropyl alcohol to remove all the sharp tooling marks and fingerprints. To make those aforementioned monster teeth, I'll take this block of translucent clay and pinch off a teeny tiny ball that I can roll back and forth until I've got a long, gnarly snaggle tooth that I can add to this tray of teeth that I made off camera. Once they've been baked once, to lock their shape, I can remove them from the tray and attach them to the still soft, pokeable clay of the monster's mouth, pressing them into place all willy-nilly until I've finalized my big, goofy, spooky pasta gob. Then with the mouth in place, it's time to make some eyeballs. Which will, of course, also be meatballs. So like, meat eyeballs. My balls. No, wait. To make my eyeballs look like meatballs, I'll cover the majority of the ball with a messy layer of clay, leaving the center untouched before aggressively poking at it with a metal brush. This will give the surface a nice meatball-esque texture, and a bit of cleaning up around the edges will create the semblance of eyelids within the center of the meatball layer. With my 4 meatball eyes baked, it's time to figure out what to do with my fork and knife, and I think I have an idea. A nice long length of armature wire looped around the bottom of the bowl and up the sides will create a couple armature arms roughly the same thickness as a pasta noodle. And a bit of bending will wrap them around the utensils to give my evil bowl of sentient pasta a couple spooky pasta arms holding the utensils aloft in a threatening manner. Now, before I can add the pasta to the bowl, I'm gonna need to give everything a coat of paint, which means disassembling my utensil arms and removing the teeth from the monster mouth, making sure to note which gumball they need to be returned to. Otherwise, the first step in giving this all a bit of color is giving everything all the color, aka a white priming. Except the fork and knife who get a glossy black primer, which is important as this makes the best base for when I apply a layer of my chrome paint. Back to the bowl of pasta though, I want the arm wires to blend in seamlessly with the soon-to-be added pasta, so I'll paint the freshly primed wire with a layer of washed out yellow paint before giving each of my meatballs an initial layer of dirty brown glazing, followed by a series of reds, browns, more browns, off-whites, and then a final brown on top until I've got a semi-meatball looking lump ready to have a big spooky eyeball added to the center. To make the eyeball appropriately monstrous, I'll use a sponge to add a mostly circular iris of orange, then I can gussy it up with some browns and yellows before painting a slitted black pupil in the center. Finally, some red wash is applied liberally around the edge of the eyeball will give it a gnarly dried out look, and a bit of whitewash over top will make it fade into the eyeball a bit more naturally. For the mouth, I'll start with a dark bloody red applied haphazardly over everything, followed by a lighter pink tone wet blended in before the red has had a chance to coagulate, followed by a clean sponge to sponge away the excess, which should leave me with a pretty gnarly looking fleshy base tone. Then it's back to the red, but this time with a very watery wash to tint that bottom layer, along with a bit of purple to add some veins and subsurface highlights. Finally, once it's had a chance to dry, I could pop the teeth back into their appropriate tooth holes, and it's on to painting the bowl. I pretty much gave up on sanding the bowl flat, which means a clean, smooth, shiny white bowl is out of the question, so instead I opted to do a messy, splattered ceramic-looking bowl, since that should adequately hide my inadequacies. So once I've sponged a bit of warm gray over the entire bowl, I'll airbrush a layer of bluish gray on top before turning the PSI on my airbrush way down so that I can spit little globs of brown to create that speckled look I'm after. Of course, I realized pretty quickly that it would be a lot easier to do it with a toothbrush and my thumb, so that's what I ended up finishing it off with. Otherwise, I took a bit of rusty brown paint and sponged that over the lip of the bowl, and I gotta say that's a pretty smart looking ceramic wannabe bowl, if I don't say so myself. Now, with that done, I'll cover the bowl with its foil protector and fit the armature arms holding the utensils inside while I get to work making some spaghetti. To that end, I've got some white clay and I've got some yellow clay, which, with a little movie magic, should combine to make a pretty color-accurate pasta yellow. To turn this blob into pasta, I'll pinch a bit off, roll it into a pasta sausage, then jam it into my clay extruder, attaching the spaghetti holes and starting extruding lengths of spaghetti. Then I'm on to the slow and methodical process of adding oodles of clay noodles to the bowl until I've got the bottom mostly covered with some noodles climbing up to hold the utensils menacingly, at which point I can put the mouth in place and add more and more noodles on top. Eventually I've either got enough noodles or I've run out of yellow clay, so it's time to add the eyeballs behind the mouth looking off in random directions. Finally, it's into the oven for one final bake, and once it's had a chance to cool down, I can remove the spaghetti monster from the foil base and the foil from the bowl, and I don't know why the rust turned green, but it's kind of a cool accidental result, so I'm gonna keep it. Finally, to give the bowl a final glaze, I'll give the bowl a final glaze with some Cosclay glaze, which will give it a nice glaze finish. The eyeballs get a high gloss varnish to give the meatball section a bit of shine, then I'll drip a drop of UV resin over the iris and cure that before covering the rest of it with some more resin to finish them off and make them look nice and goopy. The pasta is a little flat and one-tone, so I'll blast it with a very light orangey wash to add some shading before tickling the tops with a nearly white yellow as contrast. Then the mouth gets a full once-over with a high gloss varnish, while the base of each tooth gets a sepia wash since my spaghetti is holding utensils, not toothbrushes. Otherwise, to cap it all off, a little Fabri-Tac glue strung between the teeth will make my monster mouth appropriately goopy and drooly, and it's time to put this whole monstrosity together. However, once all the pieces are in place, I realized only children and women whose partners are out of town eat plain pasta, so I've mixed up a pot of PVA glue, little chunks of cork, and various reds and oranges until I've got a pasta sauce-ish looking slop that I can drip over the top. For a little added seasoning, I've got these little fake leaves that crush up to make a decent oregano, and in lieu of quality shaved Parmesan, I'll make the horrifying fake Parmesan in a tube we all knew as children, which in this case is just a little white snow flock. Otherwise, with the seasoning in place, I'd say we're all done here and on to the Glamour Shots. As always, a big ol' thank you to those gems over on Patreon, and a special hey how are you to the newest of them, Aaron Miller, Smelkin Ernesto, Cosmic Dare, Wesley Sawtell, Icarus, Kells Pels, Leon Savage, hi Adam, my mom's sister and I watch your videos, please say hi, Zach Rain, Shadow Realm, Megan Gresham, and Deputy Dangle. You are the massive noodly appendages that allow this channel to continue to hold the fork and knife of creation. Whoa, fork and knife of creation is way more metal than I had thought it would be. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Cheers.